Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak English with Power. I hope you're doing great today. It's always good to be here with you, just you, me, and a little bit of time to grow stronger in English together. You know, sometimes students tell me, John, I really want to speak better, but I don't have anyone to practice with. And when I hear that, I smile, because I've heard it hundreds of times. Maybe you've said it too. And I understand it can feel lonely to learn a language by yourself. But here's the truth. You can make incredible progress even when you practice alone. In fact, some of the most confident English speakers I've met learned mostly by themselves. They didn't wait for a teacher or a perfect study partner or a language exchange app. They just started. They trained their brain step by step every day. So today I want to talk to you about that, how to practice English when you're alone. And I promise by the end of this episode, you'll see that you have everything you need to get better, right where you are. Let me ask you something. When you study alone, do you usually read, listen, or repeat? Most people just read or watch videos quietly. They think that's enough. But if you want to speak English, you have to use your mouth. You have to move your tongue, your lips, your breath. You have to make sounds, because reading and listening feed your brain, but speaking trains your body. And if you don't train your body, your brain can't do its job properly. So, the first thing to remember is this. When you practice alone, don't just study English, perform it. Read out loud, repeat sentences, talk to yourself. Turn your home into your English world. When you walk around your room, describe what you see. Say things like, the window is open, or I'm making tea, or it's raining outside. These sentences are simple, but they do something powerful. They connect your English to your real life. And that's how your brain learns faster. Now you might think, but John, won't I feel silly talking to myself? And yes, at first you might. But remember this, no one's watching. No one's judging. You are your best and safest practice partner. When you talk to yourself, you can make mistakes freely. You can repeat things 10 times if you need to. You can try different tones, speeds, and emotions. That's something you can't always do with another person. So instead of saying, I have no one to practice with, try saying, I have the perfect partner myself. Let's imagine your day for a moment. When you wake up, your brain is fresh. That's a perfect time to think in English. Before you even look at your phone, say to yourself, Good morning. I feel good today. I'm ready to learn. You might think it's too simple, but it's not. Those small moments build strong habits. Then, as you get ready, describe what you're doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm getting dressed. I'm making coffee. If you do this every morning, your brain starts to connect daily actions with English words automatically. You don't need to sit at a desk or open a book. You're already practicing. Another great way to practice alone is listening with repetition. You can use podcasts like this one or any English video you enjoy. The key is not just to listen, but to echo. When I say something, pause for a second and repeat it in your own voice. If you hear a phrase like, I'm learning every day, say it out loud after me. Do it again and again until your tongue feels comfortable. This is called shadowing, repeating what you hear with the same rhythm and tone. It might feel strange at first, but it's one of the best ways to train your speaking muscles when you're alone. Now let's talk about mindset, because when you practice alone, your biggest enemy isn't grammar or vocabulary, it's motivation. You don't have a teacher to tell you what to do or classmates to push you. You only have yourself. So the question becomes, how do you keep going when no one's watching? The answer is simple. You must become your own coach. You must talk to yourself like a teacher who believes in you. When you do well, say, "Nice job." When you make a mistake, say, "That's okay, I learned something." Your brain listens to the way you talk to yourself. If you give it encouragement, it keeps trying. If you give it fear, it shuts down. Sometimes, when I was learning Spanish, I'd sit alone and think, why am I doing this? No one's correcting me. What if I'm saying it all wrong? And then I realized it doesn't matter, because practice isn't about perfection, it's about building comfort. Even if you say something wrong, your brain is still learning rhythm, tone, and connection. That's what leads to fluency later. So when you practice English alone, don't wait for someone to correct you. Just keep speaking. Your brain will correct itself naturally over time. It's like learning to walk. No one teaches you how to move your legs step by step. Your body learns through doing. Your mouth and brain will do the same for English. Here's something you can do right after this episode. Go to a quiet place and record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Talk about your day, your goals, or even how you feel. Then listen to your voice. Don't judge yourself. Just notice, how do you sound? Do you pause too long? Do you repeat the same words? That's feedback, real, powerful feedback. And the best part? You don't need anyone else to give it to you. You can become your own teacher. If you do this once a week, you'll be amazed at how quickly your speaking improves. You might say, "John, I get bored practicing alone." That's a fair point. But learning doesn't have to be boring. You can make it fun. Watch short English videos and repeat your favorite lines. Sing along to songs, even if your voice isn't perfect. Tell short stories to yourself, maybe about your childhood or your dreams. Pretend you're hosting your own podcast in English. When learning becomes fun, you'll never need someone else to push you. You'll want to do it. Now let's talk about environment. Your surroundings can help or hurt your progress. If everything around you is in your native language, your brain will always go back to it. So try to make English visible. Change your phone settings to English. Follow English-speaking YouTubers or Instagram pages. Put small notes around your room with words like mirror, door, light. Each time you see them, say the word in English. These tiny details help your brain remember faster, because it sees and hears English everywhere. Sometimes people ask me, "John, what's the most important thing when practicing alone, speaking, listening, or reading?" And I always say, all of them matter, but speaking should be your focus. Why? Because that's the skill most learners avoid when they're alone. They think speaking requires another person, but it doesn't. You can speak anytime, anywhere, with anyone, even with yourself. Speaking is the bridge between learning and living English. If you cross that bridge every day, even for 5 minutes, your confidence will grow naturally. Let me ask you something else. Do you ever feel like your English isn't improving, even though you study often? That's a common feeling. especially when you learn alone. But progress in language is slow and invisible at first. Your brain learns quietly in the background. Then, one day, you'll realize you understood a sentence without thinking, or that you spoke smoothly in a short conversation. That's the moment your practice starts showing results. So be patient. Keep going. Trust the process. When you practice English alone, you're building something bigger than just language skills, you're building discipline. You're teaching yourself how to keep promises to yourself. And that, my friend, is power. Because if you can stay consistent when no one's watching, you can do anything. Now I want you to imagine this. You, 1 year from now. You sit down to watch a movie in English, and you understand most of it. You talk to someone online, and your words flow naturally. You record yourself speaking, and you sound confident, calm, and clear. That future version of you exists. You're building it today with every word you listen to, every thought you translate, every minute you practice alone. So the next time you feel like you're all by yourself in your learning, remember you're not really alone. I'm here with you. Thousands of learners around the world are on the same journey, listening, speaking, and growing just like you. Every time you hit play on this podcast, you're part of that global community. And we're all training our brains to do something amazing, to think, feel, and speak in a new language. Alright, before we finish, I want to give you a little challenge. After this episode ends, I want you to speak in English for just 2 minutes. You can talk about your day, your dreams, your favorite food, anything. Don't stop, don't worry about mistakes, and don't translate. Just speak, then smile, because that's exactly how you grow. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm proud of you for showing up, for listening, and for believing in yourself. Keep going, keep speaking, and keep training your brain. And remember, you don't need anyone else to make progress. Everything you need is already inside you. So until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and as always, speak English with power.